Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening from the Grassroots community. Now, here we have it, man. This is one for the ages, man. We've got myself, TV. We've got Sports King TV. You taking orders there? Duke, you taking orders or something? What's going on?
No, I'm making sure flipping the thing don't turn off, man. The battery's low.
I'm trying to do intros here. You're taking orders.
Sorry, fam. Let's go again. Start again.
The Sports King TV. We got Andrew from the SELK podcast, and then we got the straggler that we got from somewhere. What's his name again?
The amateur football channel.
The Shamateur penalty taker.
Andrew, listen, you don't want none of this smoke, you know. You don't want none of this smoke.
We've seen it, mate. I've got no knees. I reckon I hit a better penalty than you.
Wow. Is that how it started?
We'll get onto that in a bit.
We've got the amateur footballer. Oh, who is the amateur footballer? Sorry. But yeah, how are you all doing, gents? How are we doing?
Good, mate. Very well, thanks.
Good still.
Awesome. Now, if you don't know by now, we've got something in common. We are obviously part of the Grassroots community, but we are all content creators in our own different ways and being. So again, look, before we get into the meat and bones of it, let's just all say like what we do. And so I'll start with you, Duke. Again, hopefully he's done with taking your orders and stuff. Like mine's chicken and chips if you're offering. But
yeah, I'm Duke of Sports King TV. I also do Peck and Rise content as well. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Andrew?
My name's Andrew Wheaton. I'm a Sunday League referee, and I'm the founder of the SELK Grassroots podcast network, covering all sorts of non-league football from the very top of it to the bottom of it. I'm very proud to cover to the bottom as well.
Awesome. And then Tobrise.
Hi, my name is Tobrise, founder of the amateur football platforms. So I cover Grassroots Sunday League. I still play, and yeah, I just love what I do. I'm very, very blessed and very, very fortunate. So again, thank you for letting us come onto your platform.
Nah, no worries, no problem at all. So again, I'll probably just go around again. Or in fact, this is probably open to everyone. Why Grassroots and why decide to create content around it? Because I know myself how stressful it can be. It's something that I do, that I like and enjoy, but at the same time, why give up your time, not only to play Grassroots, but to create content around it? So whoever wants to jump in first, by all means.
You know what? For me, it's an addiction, if I'm being honest. Like before, when I very, very first started, and I'm not even talking about me actually editing the videos. I'm talking about even before that, where other people were editing and I'm uploading. It was for me, it was just a buzz of creating something that people enjoyed. And for me, it was just once I started editing, it was, I don't know, it was that enjoyment enhanced like tenfold. So for me, it's a bit of an addiction. I love pumping out videos, all the stress and that. It's like it's all worth it on that Monday. Come 7 o'clock, little plug there. Once it goes out, and then it's just done with, on to the next thing. So for me, it's an addiction. I've been in Grassroots all my life, so it goes hand in hand like a marriage, really. It was the easiest thing to kind of put energy into, because I know I will never kind of get bored of it, so to speak. It will literally have my full 100% on it. And I've obviously fell into it, but I've kind of like, thank God to count my blessings for falling into it, because I never would have put the two together if I was just sitting there planning, wow, what am I going to do with like a camera and stuff? So that's my story and take on it still.
Anyone else want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll go. So similarly to Duke, I've been involved in football at this level for a long, long time, either managing a team or watching it or refereeing in it. I just felt it deserved to be highlighted, because I think it's the purest form of football. It's where there won't be an English player playing now that hasn't kicked a ball in grassroots football. It's where it all begins. It's been much maligned and it's been in a bit of a trough. But now, thanks to all the content creators, we're all trying to give it his credit, and it deserves a hell of a lot of credit. As we've seen from recent lockdowns, it's such a release for so many people in so many ways, and I just felt, let's give everyone their 5 minutes every week. Give him a mention, give him a shout out, give Dave the Postman, this bloke I keep talking about, give him his goals to listen to on a Monday morning on his round. And yeah, it's been downtrodden by everyone in authority. So it's up to people like us to give it a shout it deserves.
And yeah, to you, Tobrise, last one, means least.
Yeah. It started really because of my kids. It was kind of more of a keepsake, and to show that my children look like daddy was a decent athlete. And like when I say decent, and I mean just decent. And Grassroots is literally my level, and marrying it with video that I've been involved with for over 20 years. It's just a marriage made in heaven, and you kind of go around the circuit and you played against teams and players who you fought on the pitch, you've argued, and then once you get older or once you've got a little bit more experience and you see those players or you see those teams, every single team has a journey, every single team has a story, every single player, manager, coach has a reason why they're still in Grassroots. So, I just started off just documenting my own journey. And then it's just grown, kind of covering teams, players, and really kind of getting into the nuts and grannies of grassroots football. Because again, I've said it on numerous occasions, grassroots football is the bloodline to the elite level. And I think people actually forget that. So many talented players, coaches, managers that just love the game. And we are very, very, very lucky to literally have the means to literally expose and bring awareness to teams, players, and managers.
No, nice words said by all of you. Now, I've been doing this a couple of years myself. I got in it just kind of similar to all of you guys, just kind of out of frustration that I didn't really come across anyone who was doing it until I come across you guys. But I just thought like there needs to be still more, even if there was us four doing it. I mean, there's other platforms, that are doing it as well. And now I'm just like, I'm seeing the growth go from when I first started 2 years ago to where it is now. I mean, who in your eyes kind of sticks out? I mean, there's loads of teams now, content creators and all the rest of it. Who sticks out in your eyes that people need to be aware of right now?
Me, Peck and Ryan massively. And that's not because I'm now friends with Duke and Gibbs, but they're the best thing about these up and coming YouTube teams. It's all about individuality. You see so many teams that just want to be another team. You've got quite a few SE Dons wannabes out there, and SE Dons videos are absolutely fantastic. They use the resources that they have to hand fantastically. But for me, Duke and Gibbs they squeeze every single bit they can out of what they've got to hand. And for me, Peck and Rye are one of the best YouTube teams out there.
I would say, I mean, there's kind of two teams. There's Sanderstead, and I know what Russell does behind the scenes, and he's just addicted to football. And Russell was one of the first people that really reached out to me. And just knowing what he does behind the scenes, it's just absolutely incredible. And another team that I play for, Wimbledon Town, a very well-run club. Every single Sunday, like kits are done individually. We have training at Tooting Mitcham. Everything is just run to perfection. So those would be the two things. And if you're kind of talking about a content creator who I believe kind of underneath the radar, bunch of amateurs. I've said that a few times. Bunch of amateurs it's just something different. well-produced content, focusing more on like the non-league side. But again, it's kind of very entertaining. It's, it's kind of very clear and simple, and they really produce great stories. And yeah, I literally love them. So a bunch of amateurs.
Cool. Duke?
Oh, this is I don't know, for me, this is a bit of a weird one. If I'm going to be honest, I don't watch a lot because I don't really have time, if I'm being honest. That's not to say I've watched everyone at least once, but just not on a sort of like continuous basis because there's just so much work to be done and just not enough time. Up and coming or sort of like people to watch out for. I do like Sporting Continental. I think their stuff is real good. Very well put together.
You just gave us all a shout out earlier on in the stream as well, by the way. Just said all of my favourite Grassroots people in one stream. So shout out to Sporting Continental.
Big up Hugo.
Also, I echo, I can't remember if it was Amateur who said Sanderstead.
Yeah.
You say, yeah, I like this. To be honest, I've got a couple people. I could be here for another 5 minutes saying who I think's gonna do well or sort of like ones to watch out for. But I would say for me, those are kind of my top two, if I'm gonna say keep an eye out on. But then I still think there's other people that are in that same bracket that can push the envelope to the point where they're seen as a top. I mean, what is a top content creator really, innit? Let's be honest. I think for me, it's just consistency, innit?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we can get into that point as well. Before I do, I've got to give my shout outs to obviously where are they? These guys, Takers FC again.
To be honest, I watched their. Sorry to cut you. I watched their video for the first time. I think last Monday or so. Even them, they're serious as well. Production wise, they're serious. So. There's too many to really just point out to. I almost feel bad just to say out two because there's more, if I'm being honest.
No, listen, it doesn't necessarily have to be two. I was just, if you had more, you can say more. I mean, I said Takers, but there's a team called Acorn FC. There's a really good commentary. I really love it and enjoy it as well. There's FC Baller. Again, they do this kind of like wheel of misfortune at the end of the game sort of thing, like if someone loses or whatever. Again, it's just stuff like that really kind of stands out to me. But again, that kind of leads on to my next point. What do you guys look for in these new teams or existing teams in terms of content creation? Is it just the commentary? Because everyone can snap out, 10 minutes of footage. Do you know what I mean? Or 10 minutes of audio for Andrew's sake. But what is it you're looking for that kind of grabs your attention, that thinks to yourself, okay, they've got something?
As I said earlier, I think it's individuality. There's lots of teams that use a VO cam and they just put the games out. They put a score in the top corner and that's it. They put it out on their YouTube channel, and that's all well and good if you just want to watch a game. But I think people watch YouTube and then there's got to be a bit of an entertainment factor to it as well. I think that's important to draw an audience and to retain an audience. I think there needs to be a bit of entertainment around it as well. So I think that's quite important. There was that guy on Twitter who was rating everybody's all their videos and stuff. He had a discussion with him, and I think the individuality, making it your own, and showing your character is far more important. It might not be successful. It might not be millions and millions of viewers or millions of subscribers, but at least you're being real to yourself and you're showing your true club, not just recording a game and putting a score in a corner. I think if you're going to do it, show the club and shine a light on the club itself.
I'm not gonna lie, I echo that what Andrew's saying, but I would put in there as well, just from sort of like creating videos and knowing what it takes. I like to see sort of like, it's hard because football, it's a 90-minute game, two sides, 22 men and a ref, and if you're lucky, linos, isn't it? It's hard to kind of put your spin on that, but that's what I look for. It's, we're all doing the same thing, so to speak, but you can make it an individual kind of thing. And that's what me personally, I like to kind of, in my videos, I kind of try and make you feel like the atmosphere, like what's, you know, what it could be like, you know, when you turn up, it's not just a game, like there's an atmosphere there. I believe what Andrew says is right. People are kind of like, you know, some of the, you know, maybe the newer content creators literally just slapping the game up with graphics. I mean, graphics now it's easy now to get graphics, which, don't get me wrong, it makes your product look better, but at the same time, there's no real substance to the actual products once you take away the graphics, if that makes sense. So there's no, it's more what I'm more getting at is the creativity of how the videos put together. A lot of videos are not, they don't have it. So that's what I tend to look for. I can watch a video for probably about 3 minutes and more or less know what kind of video it's going to be. And then it's just like whether I want to sit there and watch it or not, or try and find something else, so to speak. So that's my take on it.
One thing I just want to add, I think it's great that any club takes the time to record and upload their videos. But if we're talking about proper what I would call a YouTube team, I think the YouTube bit comes into it with the entertainment and with the extra sort of bits on top. Any team can put their content onto YouTube, and it's enjoyable to watch, and it's good for research for my podcast and all that stuff, which is good. But to engage an audience, like what Duke does with his show, you know straight away that it's got a style to it, and you either like it or you don't, and you stay with them or you don't. And it's good that there are teams doing it, but to grab an audience and to retain it, I think you need that extra little bit that we've discussed.
You know, I literally have to echo what everyone's just said. Really, I think something I would like to add. You know, I kind of like to see behind the scenes. For me, you know, and you know, I think the viewer, you know, exactly what Duke is saying in terms of the like graphics, you know, they are very easily done. I think now, as a kind of consumer or like a viewer, however you want to phrase it, I think we now want things that are real. We don't want things that are going to be polished. I don't like things that are just that like look like Hollywood. I like when, you know, people come late and literally the like manager is shouting at them, missing socks behind the scenes. Like I like when there's, you know, when it's wet and then the cameraman's got to wipe the lens, because, you know, it just brings Sunday League, you know, that's what I believe Sunday League is. And, you know, if like you can bring that to me, I will watch forever. I will literally watch Sunday League, YouTube football forever. I think I probably watch more football on YouTube than I even watch like, you know, on the kind of Premiership. And you know, I like really believe authenticity is the key thing. Mm-hmm. If you can bring that with the characters, with, you know, with the kind of production value, and again, not too produced, then you know what, you have a winning formula. And I think Andrew said, you know, what kind of is a successful YouTube team. I think as long as you put out the content, and, you know, I think Duke said it, consistency, and, you know, I think you are successful. Because again, you know, it doesn't matter how many subscribers that you have, you know, as long as those subscribers are entertained, that's it. Then I believe that you're successful.
Now let's talk about look, behind the scenes. You mentioned there, Tobrise. What sort of things that people do not see? Because again, I was having this conversation probably with all of you guys, like individually, like what's the sort of things that people don't see, that people don't appreciate, you know, whether it be driving to games, whether it be Duke. I remember having a conversation with you about how long it takes to edit a video. You know, when your memory card gets corrupted and stuff like that. Talk to me about some of like the kind of wanting to pull your hair out moment sort of thing. And I've got plenty of it, by the way. That's probably the reason why I'm going to throw. By the way,
can I have a bit of yours?
Best throw in the game, by the way.
Nah, to be honest, I mean, I think when I'm recording, I'm literally on a knife edge, because so many things can go wrong. And a lot of the times, a lot of the stuff that does go wrong, you don't know until you've got the camera home and pull it into your computer and seen, the footage doesn't come out right, the audio's done this, that's done the madness. I'd done a game, the last SELK game for SELK, where the lights kept on flicking. I didn't change the aperture, but that's not showing on that camera that the aperture's not right. So therefore, you got this kind of consistent, you know, line that's going through the video. But I didn't see that on the camera to adjust it. It's not until I got home and I'm like, oh shit, I can't even do nothing now. And I don't want to disappoint no one in terms of like not putting out the video. To be honest, it was even far worse than that. I had to almost color code it, rip the whole material apart and try and rebuild it like that. So it's literally anything. I've had loads of kind of problems, trial and errors, learning on the job kind of thing at the same time, because I didn't, you know, there is no kind of camera school or anything like that. It's literally you learn on the job and you figure out things as you go, I suppose. So literally, I've had, I wouldn't say all, but you know, there's been times where I've recorded the game, the camera hasn't said, the camera don't speak, unfortunately. and you know, the whole game's come out totally wrong for whatever reason, and I've not known until I got back. So it's like even a double whammy, because when I'm telling people, oh, you know what, the game didn't even come out like how it's supposed to. And for example, you know, there's only one game it didn't come out, and funny enough, it was the Sporting Continental. We lost, didn't it? And I wasn't able to put out the version because the footage was a mess, innit? I couldn't save it at the time and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, raw, like, what do I do here? That was a hair pulling moment where I was pissed, because obviously we wanted to put out our side and they done a good video as well. So it was like, raw kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I would say on it. Like, I mean, there's too many moments and there's too many things that do potentially go wrong when you're recording.
There's a funny comment coming in from Sporting Continental saying, "Wish my memory card got corrupted this week, just gone." I'm guessing he's talking about this game that's coming out. That we'll be all enjoying over some continental breakfast. Wink, wink. Andrew,
Yeah.
Any moments where you're thinking, you know what, I'm giving this up?
Well, yeah, a lot, but not due to any. I mean, we're audio only, so really, it's quite an easy ride for us. We don't really edit too much out unless the team interviews and slags the wrong person off or asks for what they've said to be removed. We don't really touch it. We leave it as it is, because I like the conversation to be natural, and I like it to have some character. So like we were saying earlier about content on YouTube with teams, we like to leave all of that stuff in. So we don't really, there's not been problems. There's been uploading problems with our SoundCloud, but not really. Like, I'm quite lucky, as I say, we record it. I might trim out some pauses or some swear words. We had a young listener called Cairo complain about swearing that we were doing on the show. So we tried to stop that. That's Duke's son, by the way. But no, we don't really have any technical problems. As I say, we're pretty low tech compared to you boys with cameras. So we just like to keep it natural, and we like to and keep it raw, really, because I think that gives a much more rounded conversation, and it reflects what you see on the sidelines on a Sunday morning.
Talking about technical issues, I think Tobrise was having some as well, man.
We've just had a power cut. Madness.
I think he's either very engaged with this conversation or he hasn't moved in about 5 minutes. So which one was it? So clearly it was
madness. Absolutely. Apologies.
So yeah, we're just talking about, you know, things that have gone wrong. So again, literally first, there you go, technical issues.
Not your broadband.
Yeah. I mean, again, you know, with corrupt SD cards, there was a situation where I brought my mic, but I didn't bring the lead. Sometimes you are like setting up your tripod and then a connection breaks and you think, Jesus Christ, like, can things literally go wrong? And, you know, or, you know, you are like traveling to a game and then there's just crazy amounts of traffic or there's something happening. It's, I think people really do not realize the amount of, time and labor it takes to actually produce video content or audio content or produce 200-300 pictures. and you really have to love the process. I think more than anything else, and that's what keeps me going. Is always trying to improve. It's always trying to kind of look at things differently. Trying to capture things that I wouldn't ordinarily think of doing. And again, just to experiment, but also as well, yeah, like the time is absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
But,
the amount of time lost in content creation is crazy if we added it all up together. But again,
that's a sacrifice, isn't it? Really,
it is a sacrifice. You like really have to love what you're doing, and again, exactly what Duke said. It comes down to consistency. If you're consistent with the content, if you're kind of consistent with your workflow and your schedule, then you will be successful. And again, successful is quite subjective, but people will watch, people will resonate, and people will connect with you.
Talk to me, guys, about some of your best highlights since you've been doing this. Some of the things that you kind of put in your top 3 moments or whatever.
Wow. For me, we're 270 odd episodes down now, but the first standout episode, and again, I'm not just saying it because he's here, but Duke and Gibbs came on for a Peckham Rye profile show, and the two of them just bounced off each other brilliantly. It was a fantastic show.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated him, brother. He's a dickhead.
but no, the way they bounced off each other, I knew Gibbs was a listener, so that's Gibbs now has become our Westphal contributor on the Sunday League show. On the back of that, Gibbs became involved, and that's a big standout one. We had Kenilworth on as well, and with Junior Baker and Frenchie from Kenilworth. Frenchie's not involved with the club anymore in an official way, but the way they spoke about a club, a Sunday League club that's been going for 50 plus years, and you just think, it's so inspiring the way they spoke and what they look for in a player and all that stuff. It was one of the greatest interviews, and the whole thing we did in the first lockdown, the 50 podcasts in 50 days, I think that stands out as the best thing that I've ever done, the best thing I probably will ever do with the podcast as a piece. 50 podcasts back to back for 50 days, covering football and mental health, and just the amount of messages we got saying thank you. This is keeping me sane, and the amount of strangers that were DMing me and saying, where do I donate some money to? And it was a bit mad. And the 50 podcasts in 50 days is easily the best thing that I've done on a podcast.
Duke, what about you, sir?
I think for me, it's going to sound weird. My very first video I edited. I think it was obviously it was a Peckham Rye video, and I think it was when we beat. Was it? What was Ronnie's team again?
Highfield Rovers.
Yeah, I think that was my very first video, and oh my god, I swear it felt like about 3 months to finish. I didn't know what to do, to put in, to leave out, to do anything. Anyway, when the video was done now, I literally sat there for about an hour just to wait for my first like. And when I got it, oh my lord, I was like, that's my video. I'm a YouTube star now. I've got clear. This is me. So that I would say personally, that's my personal my best highlight ever. I've had others, to be honest, but that is my number. I will never forget that feeling, that first like. I was like, yeah, this is me. I own YouTube now, so that's me. Oh man.
I already know Tobrise's one. It was last weekend. He finally got to meet his idol.
God.
For the first time ever, he got to meet his idol. His the guy that he looks up to. Yeah, Tobrise, how was it like meeting me?
You know what? You're a lot taller than I initially thought, and like your head is a lot bigger as well. But no, I mean, I think, Duke, I can totally resonate with like that as well, in terms of kind of waiting for that first like. I would say definitely doing the Reece Jackson piece. That was kind of something that I didn't think I could do personally.
That was brilliant, by the way, mate. Sorry to cut you. That was fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, I think growing up and probably people. Well, I'm gonna say it now. I mean, growing up, I had a really, really bad stammer, so video was kind of my kind of mode of communication. So being in front of camera was alien to me. So that was a really, really proud piece for me, and also as well, filming our cup final that we won. It was at Meridian, and we were playing VCD, who were in Division 1, and the team LSU at the time were in Division 4, and we got to the final 0-0, and we went on to penalties, and then we won. And I took a penalty and I scored. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
What? You can.
Yeah.
No, I'm not believing.
Honestly.
He scored a penalty. Well done.
I'm telling you, everything is on YouTube. Everything is on YouTube. But no, again, like I think every single time I press that upload button, that kind of always a joyful moment. And again, I don't want to sound cheesy, but like it is, we like put again so much work into it. Every time we press that upload button, if it's audio, if it's visual, if it's it's images, that's a win. It is a win, and we can't take this for granted. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. And it's surprising that you actually scored a penalty for once. Bloody hell. You must have to dig in the archives for that one.
I bet he went down the middle. And ended up hitting top right or something.
It's all on YouTube. I'll literally post it. Don't worry.
This guy. 9-1, that's all. I mean, there we go. 9-1, there we go.
Was that the score?
Was that the score?
All right, okay. Again, I want to make this very, very, very brief. So, I play as a centre back, and that game that Sport Continental has just brought up, I was captain for that day for Wimbledon Town, and we got spanked. We got spanked by Sport Continental. 9-1, and I'm not afraid to say this. I made a video about how I felt about being spanked 9-1. And it still kind of affects me now because I'm a very proud man. I'm a proud orphaner. And
don't worry, Tobrise, we've all been there. We've all been there.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been there. Still not gonna lie. That's 9-1.
9-1. I mean, so I knew that was gonna come up anyway. So yeah.
Oh my god, I'm digging that out of the archive, baby. I didn't know you had them.
You need to post that still. Let me know. At man in it still, so we can have a look at that.
9-1. Wow, that is going on Roots TV Throwback Thursday. Oh my word. Oh dear. Look, going forward, lads. Obviously, this year has been pretty much written off through lockdown and all the rest of it. COVID's been a nightmare to say the least, but at least we're all here to tell the tale. So we've got to count our blessings in that sort of way. But 2021. What's the plans for all three of you going forwards? Do you change up your content? And again, how do you kind of see Grassroots moving forward in terms of the media side as well from other teams?
Me personally, I don't know. It's a bit hard for me to answer that because I will always listen to sort of like the people. So if my content needs to change, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh no, I'm not changing nothing. I'm staying how it is. It's that to a certain extent, but if I start having issues or something's not right and people start pulling me up a bit, like constructively, I would definitely change it. So my content, I'm always looking to please, so to speak. I know everyone can't be pleased, but I will look to please in the manner that I can do it in my own sort of like lane. So with that, I would say definitely consistency on top of that. I mean, as long as we can play these games, I can record them and get the content out. I'm not everyone that knows me. I'm not really one to do friendlies and stuff like that because there's so much energy that goes into a video, I think, well, you know, I want the match to have a, you know, a real competitive edge. Even though I know people say they don't play a friendly, but just to, you know, play a friendly, that doesn't mean nothing. Let's be real. There's no 3 points and there's no next round. For me, I just like, well, I'd rather sort of like focus on something else. I don't know, looking how I can get better, or maybe doing more research on a drone or a camera or whatever I have to do, than spend a week on a friendly that's just going to be forgotten in time, so to speak. So for me, consistency and seeing how everyone else sort of like, you know, puts out, really, to keep up at the same time when I can.
What about you, Andrew? You gonna make the jump across the video or what?
Well, I mean,
yeah, what are we saying?
Andrew, come on.
There's going to be we've been discussing a Sports King SELK sort of collab once a month for our end of month show. We'll get back to that as soon as we're allowed to be together. But I think that will be our first sort of foray into videos. I think we're sort of the only people really doing audio at the moment. So the way we're looking to grow it, we've invited lots of different content producers or reporters to come and record their own shows to increase the network. So we now call it a podcast network. We've got people like Odds and Evens. We've got lots of people. The Grassroots Post will start writing or recording for us. We obviously look to include more and more leagues on our All Around the League show. So we're looking to go as far up the country as we can and as far west as we can. We're pretty strong now with our coverage of, I think it's 23 or 24 leagues in total as a network. So we look to move into the north and get more people involved. Maybe franchise out the Sunday League show that we've got for other areas. So if someone wants to take that sort of model and run with it and release it under SELK Grassroots, then I'm happy for them to do that. My time's pretty much spoken for now. It's saturated with either work, the podcast, family, or football. So it's tough to grow. It's tough for it to grow by myself, for me to do more, because you know, the missus wouldn't have it, basically, and that's fair enough. There's only so much she's allowed me to do. So but I think what we look to do is to include the community, and I think we've put ourselves in a good place within the community now to invite people in if they're budding podcasters or content creators and they want to have a little dabble and release stuff and have a practice with us before they go on and do bigger and better things. Then that's the way we'll look to grow. We'll look to grow the platform now.
And then last but not least, Tobrise. Again, look, I know you got aspirations to work for Roots TV in 2021.
This guy, you know.
The time will come. Don't worry, just keep applying for jobs when you see it. And in the meantime.
Well, in the meantime, you know, of course, you know, I want to be noticed by like you. But no, you know, I want to do a lot more documentaries. That's kind of something that I really, really love doing. Doing a lot more vlogs as well, and you know, really kind of going behind the scenes. And you know, I've got to give a big shout to Andrew regarding the audio and the podcast. I have to rekindle that, but you know, if it wasn't because of Andrew, I wouldn't even have thought about it. So thank you, Andrew, for kind of pushing me.
It's your work, mate. I just gave you an idea. It's your hard work and blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it.
Yeah, well, thank you. And yeah, you know, I'm like looking to do a lot more live shows on my YouTube channel, and you know, I'm kind of very lucky to actually have a cameraman called Kings. So a big shout out to him. But yeah, I'm kind of looking to add a few more people. Again, you know, I can't grow, you know, by myself, and you know, I kind of refuse to actually say this is just for me. It's kind of for the community as well. You know, I kind of want to represent not only the community here, you know, in kind of, you know, Southeast London, of course, my kind of friends and family back up north, and you know, and again give like people a voice that, you know, normally that, you know, they kind of wouldn't have. And again, shout out to Westminster again. You know, I kind of want to try and inspire the doers, and Westminster Wanderers are like doers. So if I can part some of my knowledge to like certain people, then yeah, that's what I'm looking to do in 2021.
Wicked. I mean, look, that's kind of it for me, because I feel like I've been steering the conversation. If there's any final words that people want us to talk about, anything that you guys want to get off your chest, anyone you want to big up, shout out, by all means, the floor is yours, so to speak.
Well, I think what Tobrise has just said about not being able to, he wants to bring other people in because you can't necessarily grow on your own. Obviously, we're a podcast that has grown on the back of the contributors. So people that have been there the longest, Jamie Nemo, Dan Gibbs, Nick Pitt, involved with Nick's our Saturday manager, podcaster. We've got dozens of other contributors from other leagues. And really, that's the way we've grown, and that's the way our coverage has increased. Obviously, we've pushed it with the Sunday League show, but that only really focuses on 3 leagues now. So we've brought in the Croydon Municipal, who have been brilliant since day one. Fantastic league. We did our cup draw with them. They gave us the responsibility of a cup draw the other day on our last podcast, which was fantastic. But now I wish to thank everybody who's sponsored us or partnered with us or done something for us for nothing. Duke is part of our major part of the podcast in that way by filming our SELK 11 games, the Mike Strong Memorial charity fund that we help to raise money for. Just so many people to thank, everyone that's listened. Just like Duke said, once you get that first listen or that first like, it's just like, okay, job done. Like that's what you're happy with. Even now, I'm the same. So everyone who's helped, Roots TV, thank you for being the initial inspiration for me to get involved with Grassroots TV, with Grassroots content producing. Tobrise, again, you've been fantastic. It's hard to watch you take penalties, but but you're good. And as Duke knows, we have lots of conversations. We've partnered up on sleeve sponsors this season with several teams, and we've talked a lot about stuff behind the scenes. And I've got a lot of time for Duke. All the Grassroots teams that are out there doing the business. If it wasn't for you, us four wouldn't be sitting here talking today. So it's to them that I say thank you the most.
I fully agree with that, man. Fully agree. Anyone else want to add any last final comments as well?
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing as everyone else, really. But more importantly, every sort of like content creator. I mean, this is the content creator show. I mean, first and foremost, without them, none of this even happens, innit? If there's any scene to be had, it starts off the hard work and the back off of them. So I'd say once again, just big up all the content creators, big up everyone in the scene, full stop, whether it be referees, tea women, dogs that come and watch, whatever. Everyone that's just in full support of the whole scene.
Shout out
out
the dogs.
Yeah. No, don't get twisted. If you go Mottingham playing fields, I guarantee there's dogs there that's there consistently with their owners just watching.
Yeah, there's dogs there that leave their remains on the pitch for you after.
Some might say that makes the pitch playable the following week, innit? It gives nutrition to that part of the pitch. But no, on the road, like just pick up everyone in the whole thing, like everyone, not missing out no one. Just because I haven't called your name or anything like that, because there literally is too many names to call. Everyone. Just keep doing what you're doing. Let's grow this thing together, and who knows, innit? Sky's the limit.
There we go.
No, I've got to echo what everyone's been saying, and I think one thing that I can say to any content creator, whatever medium, this phone, you can do everything with this phone. Like I don't know you.
That one.
This one.
Look at this.
Like, yeah, I know. I've been like practicing my.
You might need to start a petition. You might need a new phone. What's happening to that?
Use that impact.
How many times you do that?
Okay, sorry. All right. Fair enough, guys. But you know what? No, seriously. I started filming with this phone. I started filming my football content with this phone. I've had great memories with this phone.
Yeah.
So do not be afraid to pick up your phone and start filming, start doing your audio content, start taking pictures. Yeah. You don't need expensive equipment. Just go out, and do and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And enjoy the process.
I agree with Amateur there. That's 100%. He's right on that. Don't think that you need to go into any fancy film class or studios or anything like that. Just passion. You'll get you'll go the full way, not halfway, or you'll do it. Just consistency and passion. You don't need no fancy cameras or anything like that.
That's it.
I started the podcast with a £45 mic and some free software. We haven't really upgraded much beyond that, to be fair, boys. But lots of people record on their phones for our podcast, and the sound quality is more than good enough. I agree with that. You don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on your stuff to get started. Just get started and do your best.
That video, let's stop it. Let's stop
the video. Let's stop the video.
Okay, hold on.
Wow. Oh, good.
No. We got
I
from
have this all the time.
hold hands, kumbaya, and now it's like, what? Stop video.
Gloves are off.
Watching.
It's almost past 10 o'clock. Watershed.
VO serves a purpose for filming a game. If you're a team that wants to look at the game again for tactical purposes, in my view. But we go back
on the camera on your phone as well.
What I'm saying, we go back to what we were saying earlier, and that if everyone films on the same camera in the same angle and gets the same shot all game for 90 minutes, then it doesn't make it entertaining. And I think Grassroots is what it is, and we need to be entertaining with it. My problem with VO is that the quality is not fantastic, and everyone ends up looking the same if they all use VOs. So I'm not having a go at anyone. If you use VO cam, get in touch with Roots if you got a problem with what I just said.
No, you know, Andrew. Andrew.
Yes,
I totally agree. I mean, don't forget, Grassroots is a very organic sport. Like, we wake up to play on muddy pitches, to like eat oranges and
taste the difference.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying some sort of automation isn't good, but listen, if you can really want to get the essence of grassroots football, of Sunday league football, you need someone that's close up, that can hear what the manager's saying, like the frustration, the happiness, like the sound of a tackle, like the sound of the crowd, like you don't get that from a robot. Or like anything.
It's the bloke standing in front of the camera and all that. Like, we like all of that. We like all of that.
Well, it's true. I mean, what Tobrise is really saying, you don't get that intimacy with a VO. All you literally get, let's be honest, is that far shot, sort of like overhead. Even the VO close up, like let's say the ball goes under it, it's not a great shot because the camera can't almost keep up with play anyway. And then on top of that, let's also go back to the quality, because that's really the real problem.
Yeah.
You just don't get I don't know what pits are like. I think it's only like 8 megapits. So you're never going to get a nice, clean, crispy image, even on a bright, sunny day. And if you do, that all depends where the sun is, because shadows and all that kind of stuff is going to dictate what the picture looks like. So for me, I think Sporting Continental said it as a primary camera. As a secondary, I'll take that. I'll accept that, because you probably can get away with it, but not as a primary main camera. No.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you're a YouTube side or not.
I was having this conversation earlier about kind of not just VO, but again, just shots in general. It's always nice to kind of change things up, because as you guys are sporting, if you're having the same shot over 90 minutes, it gets boring. But I like the fact that people are taking now the initiative to have a GoPro in the goal, or they might have someone vlogging in between, or like shots of the sidelines and all the rest of it. It makes it so much of a difference, because again, like I think you might have said it earlier, Duke, like within the first 3 minutes, if it's not grabbing you, then you're gone. Like it's even shorter on socials, because I started on Instagram. If it doesn't catch you within the first I think it's 3 to 4 seconds, done. Detail again. If you don't get it right, you lost the viewer and potentially lost an audience as well.
I mean, and then on top of that, you've got so much competition where I think for me, the floor camera will always win anyway, because you get that intimacy, what we were saying earlier. So if you're going to use that as a main camera and you want to sort of like be, I'm not going to say a YouTube team, I'm just going to call it a content creator following a club. because for some weird reason that seems to be a bad thing now, a YouTube team. I don't think you can have that as your main camera, and even if you're gonna sort of like get the file back and sort of like break it down, the audio is not going to be there. And I mean, I think it's probably a lot more headache than it's worth in a sense of, because you've got so much competition. How are you going to keep up with a floor camera? And especially if someone's got, you know, 2 floor cameras and one's moving and one's on the other side or whatever have you, if that makes sense. I think go on, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and you know, again, I know VO is a subscription based, so literally, if you stop paying the subscription, the technology doesn't work. So you know, rather than spending whatever it is per month, just invest that money into a small camera, or you know, I'd say like a club mobile phone with with like data. So then, literally, every single player can literally take the camera, especially on away days, and just film little clips that, you know, that will kind of make like memories. So yeah,
what does the VO camera go for?
Sorry,
how much are VO cameras?
It depends who you know, innit?
Yeah.
I think
I'm hearing they're up in the thousands. So
I think there's kind of different packages depending on what you want, but you don't literally own like the IP, like so literally if you stop paying the subscription, the technology stops, or like it, you know, so like it doesn't work. So it's not really personally for kind of grassroots, you know. And again, you know, I kind of like to, you know, again, I like to see mud, I like to see dirt, I like to see like a lot of stuff that but the VO just cannot give us.
But you know, there's also one thing that we're missing out as well. With the camera person, they're also the personality. I mean, if you look at like Dons, people know Chris now. Do you know what I'm saying? You look at other teams, you know the person behind the camera. Obviously, see, you're behind the camera. You're behind the camera. Obviously, so we need to get you behind the camera. But
have you seen this? This is a face for audio only, mate. I tell you.
But you know what I'm saying though. But again, that person behind the camera, you can hear their voice. Sometimes the camera spins around to show them as well. They become a part of the team as well. So again, it's not just only forking out the investment, because that's what it is. People, that's how it's been sold. You know, don't need to get a camera person in. All we have to do is just get a video camera and that's it. But ultimately, you do, because again, you've got that personality. And again, like you said, it's about you're missing out on those little key elements that a VO doesn't pick up on. So.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We understand the appeal of it, because obviously not every team is fortunate enough to have someone that's gonna want to get up every Sunday morning to do the camera at the moment. You know, so you can kind of get it, but at the same time, it takes a lot away. I think as a team, you just have to weigh out the pros and the cons and if they suit you. But for me, the biggest problem, the competition is so high now with teams pumping out like good quality videos. It's almost like you're straight away at a disadvantage, all because you haven't got someone to stand there. So, you know, your videos are never going to be taken serious amongst the good, the bad, the uglies, just because you're using the VO and you can't get that intimacy. You can't get, you know, the other bits that go along with making a video, because it's just straight the game and that's it. Yeah. So it's literally you're going to have to figure it out, and what in terms of what you want as a club and as a content creator following a team.
Yeah. You know what? There's like something that I really want to see, and you know, again, like I don't know how many people are like listening. If there's any teams out there, or like, you know, any clubs that are struggling regarding creating video content on a Saturday or Sunday, I would love to see less kind of park like seeing like the action like away. I would love to have a YouTube or like a football YouTube channel that just focuses on the kind of pre-match talk, the halftime talk, and like after the game talk, but really produce it really well. Because again, that kind of eliminates a lot of time if you feel that you don't have time to edit a game. But if you really focus on the characters at halftime and before and after the game, that's a YouTube channel.
Tobrise, hold on. Are you just trying to say yourself, basically? Is that what you're trying to say? You really see your own channel?
I think it is, you know.
That's what he's trying to say. I just clocked it. I was like, I only want to see everything apart from the game.
Shameless.
You know what? No, but you know what? Like I like get a lot of DMs saying, you know what? I don't have time to like do this, or literally, equipment and things like that. So it's like, okay, well, if you can't afford, or if you think that you won't be consistent recording a game every single week, focus on just one small aspect of Sunday League football. There's so many avenues. You could just focus on the first half. You could be like the first half team that just records like their games. You could just focus on the manager. You could just focus on the fans. There's so many different facets about grassroots and Sunday League football. It's not only about the goals, the tackles, the nutmegs, You can focus on so many aspects, and and then it will open up so many ideas to literally create different types of content.
I hear that, but I just don't think we're at that in Sunday football. Everyone wants the glory. If they're coming to record, the full game, and they want to be, down as SE Dons or whoever. They're sort of like, been idolized. But I hear that. That's a good point. I think that could work, maybe in about 10 years if we're sort of like further on in the process in Sunday League. I don't know, where, we're looking at people getting proper paid jobs, and it's an established kind of environment, if that makes sense.
I think the big boys would get away with doing that type of show, Tobrise. So people with established audiences, like Dons, Under the Radar, hashtag, and all those, the massive people.
At the same time, I think it needs to go hand in hand. Sorry, Andrew, to cut you. It will need to go hand in hand with some games at some point, because I don't think everyone's just prepared to sit there and watch halftime.
Yeah, but they could do it. They could record the game and do their normal show, and then they could do the extra or an offshoot bit, and they get away with it because they get the viewing. But I think if XYZ team did a focus on the manager's team talk to try and inspire other managers, I don't know how good that will go down right now, but I think the big boys could definitely do something like that.
Duke, I'm hearing that you used to actually be a bit of a player, mate. This is True Third says you used to be a bit of a baller.
Oh wow, used to be Mondo as well.
Look at that, the hate is real. Look at that. I'm here trying to be, spread positive news and energy. Who's that? That's probably, I don't even know who that is, but
Gibbs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised still. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Gibbs. Quickly signed up a YouTube account, quick.
Look, the last question I want to throw in there, though, again, who is the best team out there? I've got to throw it in there because people always kind of debate this, so why not that?
Prem team or Sunday League talking?
We're not talking Prem. Come on, we're talking grassroots here, man. Come on.
That's standard. That's Peck and Rye, isn't it? Come on, let's shut this down, man. Let's Peck and Rye.
So Duke's obviously saying Peck and Rye. He's obviously biased.
They're all saying Peck and Rye. You didn't hear me. I said, come on, let's shut this down.
Okay. All right.
Oh, gosh.
I've given you one shout out tonight, Duke. I'm not going to give you another.
No, but this is the one I want. I know the rest I appreciate, but this is the one. Remember, Gibbs has got to come in on Monday. That's going to be so.
Yeah. This new Peck and Rye, I've only played a few games. Don't forget, we haven't got to see what you can really do yet.
Yeah, I've been training. The boys are hard. Don't worry about that. We've got something for them,
For me, I think over the last few years, it's got to be SE Dons for me. Obviously, Lambeth All Stars are there or thereabouts now, but just for consistency over the last few years, I'm not one to chase SE Dons and praise them too much. I do like them, but I like to treat them as a part of the Sunday League thing. I don't like to put them too much on a pedestal. But I think for me, they've been excellent for grassroots football over the last few years, and they've put the OBD SFL really in a different stratosphere to most Sunday leagues, or certainly all Sunday leagues around the southeast at the moment. That senior division is ahead of everyone. Westford is obviously growing, and as the growth of that has been fantastic. But as I say, for me, SE Dons at the moment.
Okay, and Tobrise Splinter, I know he's going to sit on the fence and be like, it's going to name about 20 different teams, and like they're all good.
No, I mean, hey, you know what? I mean, again, Andrew, I've got to agree with you. I think, SE Dons and Lambeth, you can't really ignore those teams. I'm gonna, put like another team in there, and I know Roots talks about them too. Is Hammersmith Town. I know a bit about Hammersmith. They used to be in the Southern Sunday, and they've got a good history, good pedigree. Yeah, they're not really well known on the kind of social media circuit. But again, they are a force to be reckoned with. And again, in the kind of London Cup, I think they will turn up, and they will shock a lot of people. I can really believe. But again, like in terms of what the SE Dons, especially that have done, they've literally opened up like a lot of doors for a lot of people. And again, you can't really ignore their like players as well. But again, Lambeth, again, quality team as well. So yeah, those are my three.
Okay.
If you're talking my favourite teams, I've got to go with Peckham Rye and Kenilworth. By the way, the best team for me is SE Dons at the moment. But my favourite teams in Sunday football are Kenilworth because of the longevity and the people that I've met from the club. Several people that I've interviewed on the podcast and people that I've talked to at games. They're a class outfit from top to bottom. And Peckham Rye, as I say, I think they're doing good things and they're really growing and they're becoming pillars of Westphal one way or another. And I think they're two great clubs as well.
I echo that. I'm not gonna lie, I hate Peckham Rye, to be honest. They get my nerves, personally. All I hear, Peckham Rye.
Oh man! Anything else before we wrap up?
Yes. I want to say something. I literally want to say this on your platform. So when are we going to have this penalty challenge then, Roots?
Mad. I said we record that as well.
I keep saying to Reese, I'm going to say it one more time. The initial challenge was.
Oh wow! You know what? Listen,
we can't take penalties. I figured this out. We can't take penalties. That's what it is.
Right now, I'm a wounded animal right now.
Mute you, you know that, right? So again, if you're gonna, that's the power that I have.
He tried it a minute ago, Tobrise. He turned your screen off and tried to pretend it was powerful.
If only, Andrew. If only. No, I'm gonna go it back. I'm gonna wheel it back and say, look, I in fact instigated it. Said 11 versus 11. Yeah. I'll get a team. They're ready to play you. Tumbleweed goes by. Nothing. Then he tries because he hasn't got 11 friends to back him, and then he goes.
You know what?
Okay.
You know.
Hold on. And then I've seen your penalties. I think we've all seen your penalties. And to be honest, I don't think I have to take you at penalties. Like,
you know what?
You're all right.
You know what? Again, right now I'm a wounded animal. And again, let's be serious now. Of course, with the kind of lockdown and, with kind of fixtures piling up, let's just hope that we can finish off the season. I think
this is a deflection. This is a massive deflection.
No.
Maybe
listen. It's going to be very hard for us to get a friendly when there's leagues, when there's cup competitions that are more important than getting a friendly right now. Right now, a penalty. We can get this out next week. I'm free next week.
That's nice. I mean, look, us true content. You got work to do.
I'm free next week.
I know you are. Tobrise, I know you are, mate, because you ain't got much to do. Us true content creators. Listen, remember how you came down to where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
I wish it was only Sundays for me, to be honest.
Hey, you lot, forget the penalty shootout. You lot should do a boxing match. We should do a little boxing match. I see this energy here. We can do something on this.
You know what, Jukes? How can Roots have the cheek and the audacity to go on his social media and show some shin pads? And when like we all know, those are going to be framed. Those are not going to be used. Those shin pads are not going to be used. How dare you? How dare you?
Bruce TV, baby. There we go. Them guns there.
Oh, love it.
Whenever you're ready. But no, but again, we have spoken about this, and hopefully, I mean, again, let's kind of hope that we can kind of get the league and the cup fixtures done this season, and hopefully in the summer, we can kind of definitely organize something.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that would be a good shout still.
Yeah.
Now we go. And we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching and listening as always. Thank you, for joining me, Tobrise, Andrew, Duke, thank you very much. Keep doing what you're
Big
doing.
up yourself, big up you lot as well. All
Man.
day.
All the other content creators as well, within the scene as well. Big yourselves up as well. So thank you guys for watching and listening, and keep it grassroots. Peace.
Bye.